Hey everyone. We started with a few glitches, but I think this panel is going to be super exciting because I think everyone's been looking forward to this. Thanks, Naresh. Finally you figured out your way back. Welcome
Yeah,
to the stage. So I'm quickly setting the context, and then Mridul would take it away from here. Right. So the focus of this discussion is going to be unveiling the future innovation, or rather the side where innovation is enabled within protocols, right? So whatever exciting things are happening and on the side of layer 2s or the core layers, where you enable all of the innovation to basically be built on top of, is going to be talked about here. There's going to be a lot of discussion around how you can get involved with ecosystems, or what's something that an established ecosystem, and then I can take all the names, but I feel the idea is going to be more centric around how you can get involved, or how the ecosystems are looking to serve you better, right? But if you look at the broader narrative, or rather look at the broader space, you would see that the protocol ecosystems are the ones that enable most of the innovation, because they sit right at the base layer, right? And so it becomes very exciting for everyone to look at what the protocols are thinking about the broader space, how they are looking to enable your vision, right? So that's going to be primarily what Mridul's going to be taking questions on. Mridul, over to you.
Hey Akshay, thank you. GM folks, I see a lot of GMs in the chat. So GM. Uh, Also, what a crazy last week. I mean, it's been said already, like it was a crazy week. But still took, I feel personally feel that Token 2049 was the biggest Web3 event we've noticed so far this year, right? With ETH Singapore, 400 plus side events, combining this with the whole Singapore Grand Prix fascination. So there was like true FOMO in the industry altogether. And when it comes to events, I feel it was particularly important for all the protocols that were there, which is why we have an amazing panel of you guys. So I'll quickly just give who we have. So we have Fabio, Director and of Operations and Business Development at Scale. We have Naresh from Aptos team, who is leading the India ecosystem. Sean, APAC lead at Axelar, and Ravi, who's the director of growth at Polygon. Welcome, guys. Great to have you all. Maybe we can start with a quick intro of your own, and maybe a little bit about the protocol that you come from, as well as for the folks that who are kind of new to Web3 or have just tuned in. So, Fabio, would you like to start?
sure. Can everyone hear me? All good. Cool. So Scale is an Ethereum scalability solution, specific scalability solution with zero gas fees. Right now, we see huge traction in gaming. Huge. I mean, I think it's similar with many networks, or within many networks. Gaming is booming, especially on chain, and thanks to the architecture which Scale is offering, we offer that invisible Web3 experience. So we have games with players which don't even know actually that they play a game on chain, given our instant finality and high throughput on each and every chain. So gaming is very, very big. That's what we see what we've seen at least last week at Token 2049 as well. I think every one of you sooner at some point talked to gaming or to games or gaming studios, especially in the Asian market. It's huge. I mean, that's just I think the next big industry coming to Web3. I mean, it's already there, but it's growing quickly.
Awesome. Sean?
Hey, hi everyone. Great to be here. This is my first time with this community. I'm looking forward to learn more, and also get to hang out more with this community here. So I am Sean. I kind of lead all APAC initiatives across Axelar's verticals. So Axelar, in a quick sense, is that we are a full stack interoperability solution that is secured by a decentralized proof of stake network that we run with a dynamic set of 75 validators. So think of us as the most infrastructure layer that works with all the different infrastructure layers that are represented here, right? Where we connect a lot of the L1s, L2s, and I think what we try to do is that we want to make empower the interchain future a lot more seamless, right? So from builders that are developing kind of interchain interoperability type of use cases, we want to make it a lot more seamless with a lot of dev tooling and also SDKs that are made available to them.
Naresh?
Hey everyone. First of all, thank you for this. There's been like good conversation so far. My name is Naresh. I lead Aptos ecosystem for India. Aptos essentially is a layer 1 blockchain that we're building to bring decentralization to the masses. The core to Aptos essentially is Move, which is a smart contract language which was built by the same team at DM or Libra when they were working with Meta, and they spun out to build something which is more accessible because Facebook or Meta didn't want to push this. If you look at evolution of smart contracts, we've seen burnt hands, all of us, through because of all the scams and hacks. So Move essentially is a culmination of all the learnings from existing smart contract languages and how can it be built specifically for decentralized use cases. The bunch of modules, resource types that allow for developers to essentially have a behavior integrity on, hey, what works? How do you solve for that? Our tech is pretty superior and built by over 100 plus devs and PhDs, mostly focused and based in the US. But we're also looking at expanding our developer ecosystem globally, and that's the motto for the foundation team, which I'm part of.
Ravi?
Hi everyone, this is Ravi Agrawal. I am the Director of Growth at Polygon. Look after new areas like Web3, mobile AI, digital identity. Polygon is a scaling solution. We got Ethereum scaling solution at all levels. Polygon POS, which is one of the most adopted solution, is out since last 2+ years. We got Polygon ZK EVM, which is another scaling solution with the ZK zero knowledge in place. We are also working in terms of providing the Polygon CDK, which is a toolkit that can help many projects in order to spin up their L2s without much of an effort. So working across different scaling solutions, and looking forward to this panel. Mridul, I have to take a break for 5-10 minutes, but I would join back. So sorry about it.
Sure, no worries, Ravi. Awesome. So let me just get straight to the point. Like in our last panel, we heard the investor panel that everyone has attended Token 2049 for a couple of years back, but there weren't a lot of developers, but there were a lot of protocols. There have always been protocols at these conferences and events. Now, the question I want to ask is, what were your plans for Singapore this year? Did you knew that something big is going to happen? I mean, what were your expectations? Then what were your experience, and mainly the key takeaways that you'd like to take home and want to work on those in incoming months or years? So probably, Sean, would you like to go?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I think we are really excited at Token 249. I think Axelar has been building our what we call as this interoperability layer for more than 2 years before going full live, right? But in the last 1.5 years, we've seen massive amount of growth in terms of cross-chain messaging. So essentially, I think just keeping first principles is that we are not a bridge. Essentially, we power bridge with the cross-chain messaging protocol that we have built on Axelar itself. So guys like Squid Routers, Satellite Money actually uses Axelar as the underlying technology to actually do bridging solutions. But on top of that, we also see a lot of new applications they are building on top of us. For example, cross-chain borrowing and lending, right? Cross-chain NFTs. I think the deployment right now, it's very exciting in terms of different areas that can actually touch kind of interchain type of native deployment. The other areas that we have actually seen a big amount of traction is that I think echoing to earlier, the investment panel, is that we've seen a lot of talks about RWA and tokenization, right? How we have actually created a very easy one-click SDK where you are able to deploy your token on multiple chains that we already support, EVM compatible chains. From that perspective, you are able to have that fungibility across different networks there. So I think that's what we're seeing, especially in Token 2049, a lot of conversations. And I think if you've seen some of the recent announcements, we have gone live with Mantle. We're working with most of the leading Mantle DeFi apps there to bridge liquidity across different EVMs and also other blockchains over to Mantle too.
Hey, thanks, Sean. Fabio, would you like to go next?
Sure. Like when it comes to events, when we look at Token 2049, I mean, it was massive, right? Like it was so huge. First, I thought it's just on one level, and then there was a second one. I was like, where do I need to go? It's just like our meeting room, like with meeting, where should we meet? And then first you need to find all those special rooms, and like at the end, well, everyone figured it out at some point, but I think it was organized pretty amazingly. But compared to the last few years, I mean, for everyone who's been around during the last bulls and bears, I mean, if you've been in the space in 2017, 18, events during these days, they're always insane. Like there are always those, like the ones who are there for the quick money, and then during market conditions right now, they're not here anymore. So it's literally, I think that's why many people actually saw this event or this year's event as better than the others, because this year, I mean, we've been in that market condition for a while now. So the builders are still here. The people which are actually interested in building and kind of promoting the space. Obviously, also projects which have been funded during the better times, they're still around, which is fair. But it's just good to see. It's not that NFT rug pull community basically, or other rug pulls whatsoever. It's literally just the builders, and I think that's the big difference. And to be honest, like I don't know, probably everyone attending here and even in like listening to us or watching this, if you were attending, I'm pretty sure everyone's schedule was full. So basically from morning till evening, there was always something scheduled, and then even later in the evening, there were insane, huge amount of people. And compared to all the others this year, I think it was quality wise the best one, overall globally actually.
Yeah, I mean, serious folks who believe in the technology, folks who have recently known about it, or the builders, I think those were the folks who wanted to be there. The bear market is going on, to say so, but yeah, I really like the fact that so many of the folks from the space kind of ended up over there. Naresh, I just want to quickly come to you. Like, what were your takeaways, and what are you planning for India ecosystem? Not just India, but as in like, what are the plans for Aptos in general after looking at what has happened at Singapore?
For us, it was a little bit more strategic. It was end of our Aptos World Tour, a series of hackathons we did starting in Seoul early this year. What I had recently joined only a couple of months back, but what the sense I got from the team was Singapore was essentially one of the highest quality. I could see over 500 people roaming around, but we had 40 teams who actually presented the hacks. Super high quality, I would say. The other thing, which was also for us a focus point on how can we, collaborate with other stakeholders in the same ecosystem. So a couple of exciting things that happened was Sushi came to Aptos, the first non-EM chain that they've transitioned to. That was super interesting to see. Yacht moved to Aptos. There's some interesting things that happened with Visa, which I cannot share right now, but that was super fun. So a lot of this movement also happened. Alibaba, Google Cloud, a bunch of things that we did with them. So that was super fun for us. And from a standpoint of learnings, what we want to do more is how can we not just focus on these large events and attract the audience there or allow for builders to hack, but how can we do it in a more streamlined, consistent manner across regions? So I'll talk more about India plans, but Singapore, as Fabi also said, this was, I think, one of the best quality that I've seen. I've seen the last year one as well, which was a lot more scammy, I would call.
Oh, that's interesting. Naresh, I have like a follow-up question for you. So, I mean, we've seen big partnerships, like you mentioned, like Aptos is being partnering with a lot of big brands. Microsoft, you recently onboarded SushiSwap. I see like there was like a huge launch event. Everyone witnessed over there. Usually, this is something Polygon. Polygon has been doing this for a while in this space, but yeah, this was new. But somewhere I feel it's hard for developers to get on with Aptos. Maybe because Move being relatively a new programming language. Therefore, my question to you is: what tools or community initiatives are you working on to address this kind of a problem?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest internal learnings that we saw was how can we make it more seamless for developers. And I've been speaking to Indian developers, founders for the last couple of months on some of the challenges. One of the biggest problems is the entry barrier to Move, because it's something that people have not seen. It looks like a black hole, which is which you would not want to get inside, but how I would put this is Solidity, which is one of the easiest languages for people to pick up, is because it's closer to JavaScript. I started my career as a developer long ago, and that would be a natural progression that I would do. But if you look at, people know today the challenges with Solidity, and the only way is I see two VMs sort of come out apart from the EVM ecosystem. It's SVM and Move VM. I love both of them, but Move VM in some sense takes the cake and the cherry with it, because of the design philosophy. It was built for decentralized applications, and the second was some of the safety mechanisms which are not really found anywhere else. And it's not Aptos that is the only chain that is building on Move. We have a bunch of other chains building on Move. We have an interesting product that is enabling, which is essentially a subnet on Avalanche, where you can deploy Move smart contracts. So there's a larger language play here, which could allow for interesting use cases. And the one you mentioned about the Microsoft partnership, it's much deeper than the credits and all of that. It's about, hey, how can we have more like a Move assistant deeply integrated within GitHub Copilot, within the Azure AI suite, so that it's much easier for people to build smart contracts, edit them out. And there are various other functions and differences that I can go into. But what I would encourage developers is get over that first hump. And for that, we are internally launching a couple of pointers. One is a larger Move education. I wouldn't call it DAO, but a separate education pod, which will allow for developers and general propagation of Move. Also, we have created something which is which people in the hackathon were able to experiment with, is, hey, how can I create a dApp with a single command line? I create apt dApp, and we have a bunch of things which are sort of set up. So massive strides on that front, on how we seamlessly onboard developers, because once we do that, we are not really doing it to build on Aptos only, but it has a larger play within the ecosystem.
Hey, thanks, Manish. Ravi, and I have a request. Mute yourself, I guess. Hearing my own voice. We are hearing our voice. Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Ravi. Now I would like to come to you, Sean. We heard a lot of buzz around Axelar, and it was around like Axelar is the true cross chain, and the whole narrative around it, and how projects are jumping on to the Axelar train. Can you please share like the types of projects that you have plan to onboard in upcoming quarters or have already onboarded, and what's working for you guys on the cross-chain side of things?
Makes sense. Yeah, happy to share. So I think you've probably seen a lot of recent announcements with big partnerships with the blue chip DeFi apps. Like for example, Lido just launched through Neutron and Axelar on the cross-chain layer. We're able to actually connect both wrap stake ETH and stake ETH across the Cosmos ecosystem and the Ethereum layer one itself, and also layer twos like Arbitrum and Optimism, right? So these are some of the things that we're trying to help a lot of top tier projects that are already trying to go cross-chain deployment on that side. We're also helping a lot of early developers, early builders, early stage builders to actually explore the interoperability stack, right? So in other words, they will find one of the layer ones that are here or layer two like Scale. They will build on them, then subsequently think of their interoperability use case. So what we are seeing right now is that we are seeing more swaps from a cross-chain standpoint built on top of us. Squid is one of the largest one right now, but we have guys like from Kashmir, InterSwap that's building on top of us. We're also seeing a few NFT gaming companies that are also who are really deployed on a single chain. They're coming to us in terms of how can you actually bring it across different chains. I think something that we are excited about is that we're going to probably launch that publicly will be DYDX. So essentially, they will also be integrating with Axelar as they move into the Cosmos ecosystem, kind of powering some of the interchain swaps for DYDX on that side of things. So we're seeing a lot of different, whether it's top tier projects already moving through Axelar in terms of their cross-chain deployment, but we're also seeing new projects continue to explore kind of how can you actually use our general message passing protocol, right? Because you are enabled to actually send a payload of messages, right? A few contract calls from one chain to another chain in a very seamless manner. So what we actually try to do is that we kind of give very, very strong dev tooling from that perspective, very strong API documentation. Happy to point you guys towards that you can kind of work on those. And subsequently, we want to be very dev focused, community driven, where DevRels kind of support a lot of the building work on that side of things.
Sounds great, Sean. Coming to you, Fabio. I mean, there's one thing that I heard was that Scale announced like a new roadmap at Token 2049 to onboard like 100 million users and achieve mass adoption. To accomplish this goal, I expect that Scale would definitely have like an ecosystem that provides grants to projects. And if this is the case, could you please share who might help with that person, or can you just help the builders and the projects that are on this call can go and have a chat with them probably?
Sure. Maybe I haven't mentioned it, but I'm part of Scale Foundation, so I'm Swiss-based. Grant program goes through the foundation. So if anyone has any questions, just ping me. I'll send my credentials later, Telegram and Twitter or whatsoever. But yeah, we do have ecosystem funds. It's not a fund; it's a grant program we run for several different kind of applications. We're not focusing on gaming; it's just one of the major markets right now. So we have several grants for different industries within the Web3. But what we see is like when we mentioned, okay, onboard those 100 millions and more users, that's actually because we see a lot of Web2 applications moving into Web3. And we've already seen that now with some of our partners like Gamify or Starsplay. Starsplay, I'm not sure if you're aware of them. It's like a streaming service. It's a Lionsgate company. They have some partnerships with, for example, Serie A in Italy, where they build a fan engagement platform directly into the app on their TV, and that fan platform, an engaging platform, that's built on Scale, and people and users, they don't even know that. So that's how we think the next like onboarding phase needs to look like, because if everyone, each and every user needs to first like sign up with a wallet, etc., that's not going to happen. I mean, it's going to happen for us, like the Web3 legions and so forth, but everyone else won't be able to onboard on let's say MetaMask, like just a normal, you always need to think about outside of our bubble, and if you think about that, I don't think that people are first of all willing to pay any transaction fees just to sign a transaction, even if it's just a cent. That doesn't make any sense in my opinion. So yeah, that's how we going to onboard the next huge phase, and we see huge growth. Like in August, we saw almost 200% growth in unique active wallets and users on Scale. When it comes to onboarding projects, we saw like Q2 around 300% growth, like projects moving to Scale or deploying on Scale, and many of those are actually like Web2 products deploying a Web3 layer or interested in deploying a Web3 layers.
Okay, so I guess the secret sauce is that onboard Web2 players to Web3, and that's how you get on like the fastest growing gaming chain report of DappRadar and VGA, I guess so.
Yeah, I mean that's the ultimate goal, right? We need to onboard Web2 because like Web3, the industry is at some point limited, and the community as well. It's needed, obviously. Somewhere we need to start somewhere, but we need to go mainstream, and all those big game studios, etc. I mean, they're looking. Ravi can tell you the same. They're looking into solutions which make it easier and more scalable. Because I mean, if you look back at 2017 with the CryptoKitties, etc., they basically broke Ethereum mainnet, right? And now we're at the stage. Okay, we can see there are solutions, but it's still being built, and many applications they're still building, and I think the next growth phase, which we can see, is when like some of those major players, when they actually go live on chain or with a Web3 piece integrated in the game or in their application in general.
That's really interesting. Ravi, I want to quickly come to you. I mean, Polygon in recent times have seen a lot of changes happening. Just earlier this year, we saw Polygon 2.0. Maybe you want to share more about it, what's in the plans, and yeah.
Certainly, yeah, and I think first of all, really apologies in terms of moving here and there. I think there had been a conflicting meeting. I was just trying to align. So when it comes to Polygon 2.0, I think it's with a vision where how can we have a simplified way to enable a lot of Web2 users coming onto Web3, and at the same time making the scalability solution far more easier. And this is where we are talking about several upgrades. That includes how can we upgrade the existing adopted Polygon POS chain into more ZK capabilities, and that's where we would be moving from Polygon POS to Polygon ZK Validium. The second enhancement that we are coming out with the Polygon CDK. This is a toolkit that we are enabling any project who wanted to spin up their L2. They can do it very, very easily with this toolkit. Also, there is an enhancement in terms of creating Matic to poll, and this poll would be actually going to be an hyper productive token, and this is going to be serving in terms of what we all envision in terms of taking Polygon to a next stage, and that's where there is a lot of utility that we wanted to increase into the ecosystem, and that's where this particular upgrade would be involved. So a lot of cool things that we are working on and building in order to take Web3 to mainstream.
Awesome. I certainly have like I certainly have like a. I'm sorry, I'll have to ask you to mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. So I have like a quick follow-up question. This is regarding a bunch of things. So we are aware that Polygon has the best business development team in the Web3 ecosystem, and attracting big brands and enterprise users to Web3 is what Polygon has always in the forefront of. However, with Polygon 2.0, I mean, certainly when I was reading the announcement, I noticed an introduction of community treasury, which is surprising to me in a way, because it was hardly available when you consider the Polygon 1.0 kind of an era. So does this imply that Polygon Foundation fund has kind of dried up, which is why 2.0 plan has been introduced, and more focus on community has been now given towards, rather than focusing solely on the enterprise side of things or the big brand side of things?
I would put it this way. When originally Matic Network has been designed, started sometime back in 2017, but started seeing traction post May 19. I think there had been one vision in terms of creating a scalability with one approach, which was Polygon POS, or proof of stake. Over a period of time, I think we have taken several approaches in order to ensure that we don't bet only on one approach for scalability, but have multiple approaches. And that's where you must have seen, starting in 2021, we have been working with several ZK talent, and there had been several approaches where we wanted to achieve the scalability. And that's where the core vision has been consistently same. How can we bring the scalability to Web3? But I think the approaches has been multiple, and this is where the original the original point in terms of designing of the Matic has to be increased again in order to serve the new purpose, and that's where this migration is there.
Got it. So in general, the focus would be more on developers back again, and helping them build their vision out on Polygon. I feel that's the narrative that we would be seeing more in coming days. Got it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think that has been a focus since
Okay.
day one as well. Yeah, I think especially if you are seeing that Polygon has been there since day one, working developer as our users, and how do we improve the developer experience in terms of making it so simple for a developer to come deploy and experience the type of scaling solution that they want, irrespective whether they wanted to work on a existing public chain or they wanted to spin up their app specific chain.
Makes sense. Thank you. I think we are already running out of time, but I just want like quick one-liners or projects that you saw were the best at 2049, and what is your plan ahead? Maybe on that, on the similar lines of onboarding same projects or something other. One industry, one project that you are gunning for. Fabio, do you want to go?
Oof, good question. I mean, there are so many, to be honest. But as previously mentioned, I mean, from enterprise, enterprise projects which want to put, for example, their supply chain management on blockchain, on a protocol. I mean, those are the big updates I kind of got from Togo 2049. Next to like amazing games which will be launched soon. But other than that, I think enterprise use cases are like a supply chain. So there are big brands coming, and I'm super excited about that.
Cool, Sean.
Yeah, so just echoing Fabio. So not only gaming for enterprises side of things, but we are going to announce quite a number of enterprise partnerships in the coming months to some of the big names you probably know, global MSCs, kind of Forbes 100 type of company, Fortune 500 type of companies. They are also exploring the interoperable future, right? So they are looking at both permission and permissionless type of integrations. I think that's on the back of you probably seen the POC that's done by Swift and Chainlink, but we're doing quite a number of work on the enterprise side of things too. Definitely keep a lookout on some of the new chains that are gonna be coming onto Axelar network. So a lot of activity gonna be happening on those. Potentially some alpha there. Whenever we kind of start and connect new chains, typically there is some liquidity kind of incentives there whenever you want to move on to those chains. yeah, just keep a lookout on our Twitter and yeah, follow those developments.
Naresh, one project.
I would say on-chain finance. Like I'm personally interested in that channel as well. I've seen some interesting products who have over $100 million in LOI signed that want to bring traditional liquidity on chain. So that's super interesting. There are there's a bunch of infrastructure that is more like somebody's building a credit oracle. So I'm super interested. They're not just looking at, hey, how can I just bring this here, but essentially looking at something which is more long term, decentralized. I would say underwriting, things like that. So that is super interesting for me. And I met a bunch of startups there at Token.
Awesome. Ravi, what's the next big thing to Polygon that you've seen at Token 2029?
Yeah, I think I would echo, what other speakers have just mentioned. Gaming certainly is one. Social is something that has been certainly on the uptick as well. Real world asset tokenization, I think that's another segment which we are seeing very positive uptick, whether it is the financial product or the other high value assets that are getting tokenized. And in fact, the aspiration in terms of tokenizing your time or social credit, I think that has been validated with the other apps as well. So very bullish on the tokenization side.
Awesome. Thanks, Ravi. So I would just like to express my gratitude to everyone on the panel. Thank you for taking out the time. It was a pleasure to host you all, and I look forward to possibly collaborating with you and working with you in future. Over to you, Akshay.
Thanks, Mridul. That was a wonderfully conducted panel. Thanks again from some of the most sort of sought after projects, or rather, I would say ecosystems that have supported thousands of projects, starting from Polygon, who Ravi, there's been a tremendous contribution to the ecosystem, specifically in India. So kudos to you and the amazing team at Polygon for continuing on that, building on that original vision. I think there's just anything that we say will be sort of sort of underappreciative of the effort and results that Polygon has brought in. And again, focusing on layer 2, I think Scale's super promising. I have interacted with some of the founders in the ecosystem that are already supported by the Scale ecosystem. So seeing that the layer 2 technology maturing and more players coming in to support the builders, we're still under possibly 5-7% of the total digital audience. So I think the games or the tech stacks are still getting there, but the world hasn't really seen the full potential of Web3. Right. Again, Naresh, a new layer 1, move based, which seems like the object oriented style of operation that was I've come from a developer environment, so I totally realize why the object oriented environment is super attractive for developers to build on, right? So I think while the world again will come around to looking towards what the next evolution of web looks like, I think Aptos is going to play a credible role in terms of bringing evolved developers and possibly this resulting into evolved applications, right? And again, Sean, I think I already when we met at Singapore, I already expressed some of my experiences when I was experimenting with Kepler, the wallet, sort of powering the movement from Cosmos to Polkadot, or through Axelar network. I think that was something that was promised, but I think seeing that being realized through Axelar across ecosystems presents a vision of a world which is so interconnected that the end user would not even realize that we were probably geeking out on tech stacks from for almost a decade. It seems like. But again, thanks a lot to all of you, and Mridul, wonderfully conducted again. Thanks a lot for you to join in.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah.